What's going on, everybody? Gerald Moore Jr. again, checking in with Ohio Cannabis Report, just for another update on some news going on in the Ohio cannabis industry. Obviously, you guys have been following for a while. There's been a lot going on in the state when it comes to the legal side of the industry. Also, you have the legacy side, and so we kind of operate in the vein uh, of sharing the story, right? We're in the middle. Like, I'm not legacy, I'm not legal, right? Like, I don't have really a dog in the fight. I don't work for any of these companies or corporations. I'm just a concerned citizen and somebody that's a creative and entrepreneur. And so there's just been a lot going on in the industry that we're not being made aware of by the state. And then a lot of the companies and corporations that are operating within the state legally also, obviously, they have a lot of their hands are tied because of certain laws and restrictions in terms of marketing, advertising, promoting the industry. But again, there's the lack of awareness around the industry, job creation, social equity for ensuring that communities that have been disproportionately harmed by the war on drugs have equitable access to working in the industry, to having ownership in the industry, but also being able to afford the products in the industry. And so right now it's really a colonized industry. And I know a lot of white people, and people that, don't like to talk about race, but the truth is, obviously, you don't come from our culture, you don't come from our community, so you don't know. I know there's white people struggling as well. But I also know that there's white people that have been growing in their homes for years, and they have parents that have supported their cannabis endeavors. And white people have moved to Oregon or California or legal states to be able to participate. But again, not everybody, not every community has had access to that. Not every community, again, has access to multimillionaires that can invest in their companies and liquidate assets and put up 50K, 100K, $1 million cash to be able to open up a storefront, a dispensary, a cultivation facility, or a processor. And so again, when we talk about these things, it's not to shit on people. It's not a crabs in the barrel mentality. It's a reality that there are certain groups of people who have been fighting for legalization, who've been fighting for the right to medicate themselves and profit and make money for their communities, to provide a lifestyle for their communities, and the government targeted them, specifically. And so if we're not going to be honest about that, if you're going to have folks that don't want to listen or don't want to be honest and don't want to understand that, hey, your parents and your community has benefited from the prison industrial complex, right? How many of your parents worked as police officers or worked in the prison system or were lawyers or judges? And now you have a group of folks that are being able to go into this industry, and now they're the leaders. You have white girls talking about oh, I'm a legal drug dealer now. Like, okay, you're 22. You know what I mean? And so for me, it's just, you got to call a spade a spade. And we're living in a day and age where, we got the internet, we got social media, we see y'all, you know what I mean? So yeah, cool. You go ahead and promote that you're a legal drug dealer. Oh, you're smoking your weed now, but where were you 10 years ago? When weed was illegal, what's your story then? Right? Did you just started smoking? Okay. So again, what are terpenes? Right? What, then educate folks, right? Like, if you're such a, and this is my problem, like, if you're such a weed person, you should be educating, right? And that's what we need. We need people sharing stories, right? Like, I'm a former Division I All-American football player. I'm a former NFL free agent. I was in the public eye, and I was smoking weed, and I was being drug tested, and I was scared shitless that if I failed the drug test, one, I might lose my scholarship. Then I might not be eligible, for the NFL, or there, it came off as a character flaw back then, right? If you got busted for weed or drugs, it was seen as a character flaw. He can't stay off the drugs. You know what I mean? He's a we shouldn't invest in this guy because he's using illicit drugs whole time. As a college football player, you're getting all types of opioids, you have all access to all type of pills, and obviously alcohol is legal on college campuses, so you can drink as much as you want. And obviously they want you to be 21 years or older, but we know in college, there's a lot of underage drinking. There's also a lot of other drugs, illicit drugs. You have ecstasy, perks, Molly, cocaine, like crack. I mean, it's people doing everything in college. Mushrooms, shrooms. Obviously, you have what is it? Adderall. You know what I mean? Stuff that kids was taking. So, but it's important that people, that have experience, and it's just sharing your story, right? Like I'm just sharing my personal lived experience, and that's all I can really share. I can't really talk about anybody else. Like it's just my reality. You know what I mean? In the world that I live in the space that I've grown up in. All right, so we gonna see, let me see. Mm-mm-mm. Sorry, I gotta check my settings real quick. That's why it's not popping up. I don't know. All right, so I wanted to go over this page. So this is OCAN.com. OCAN is the Ohio Cannabis Coalition. And so apparently this is their website, and this is supposedly these are the lobbyists that are lobbying against the interests of the cannabis consumers. They work on behalf of, they're an association built for and by the legal cultivators, processors, and dispensaries in the state of Ohio. So they don't have the best interest of the patients or daily consumers, right? These are the business leaders, these are the executives, the CEOs, the financiers, the big wigs, right? The folks that probably never smoked weed in their life, but they saw money and they saw an opportunity, they saw an investment opportunity, and they jumped in the game. So this is their website. So y'all can go to this. It's ocan.com. As you can see, they're not even a nonprofit organization, I don't believe. So working to enhance and improve the Ohio cannabis industry. So about the industry, we'll go ahead and just we'll read the main page first. The Ohio Cannabis Coalition, OCAN, is Ohio's leading trade association representing licensed cultivators, just like I just told you, processors, dispensaries, and testing labs. OCAN was formed to advocate and educate on the behalf of our members. We work collaboratively with the regulators and legislators to enhance and improve Ohio's cannabis industry to ensure Ohioans have consistent access to safe supply of cannabis. This is not true though, because at the end of the day, they're against tier 3 and craft growers, and they've testified publicly uh, as a proponent and interested party in two bills that were grossly against the will of the voters, HB 56 and SB 160. And so OCAN and members of OCAN testified while 40 plus citizens and craft growers uh, opposed both of those bills. So the power behind OCAN is only as strong as the people and teams behind it. We are honored to have one of the strongest membership groups in the country. So let's go see their members. OCAN is only as strong as, we already read that. So Buckeye Relief, this is one of the vertically integrated cannabis companies. They have a cultivation, processing, and multiple dispensaries. Then you have, or Amplify is these two are the same. So Amplify is the dispensary. This is the cultivator processor. Dispensary where they distribute their weed, right? And they have multiple. Then you have Clutch Cannabis, Firelands, Verdant Creations, Verilife, Standard Wellness, The Landing Dispensary, The Forest, King City Gardens, Sunnyside, Benaleaves, Riviera Creek, Uplift, Smithers, Botanical or Southern Botanicals, Curaleaf, INSA, Pharmacan, Mega Equipment Supply, Nectar, Rise, North Coast Testing Laboratories, Ohio Green Systems, NAR Reserve, Dispot, Creative, Packaging, Logistics, Italian Herbs, Mavunu of Ohio, Cresco, Franz Word, Attorney Laws, GIP, Green Investment Partners, Green Thumb, Ducci, Bloom Medicinal, Appalachian Farms, Act Labs, Certified Dispensaries, HBK CPAs and Consultants, Story Cannabis, Shangri-La Dispensaries, Ice Miller, which is a law firm, Backroad Wellness, Ascend Wellness Holdings, Green Analytics, I don't know what they are, CP Labs, Cannabis Testing, Insurance Companies, Surfside, Locals, Medical Cannabis, and Right Pet. So those are their members, which you can see most of these are dispensaries or cultivation. You have processors, you have some law firms, an accounting firm, some packaging companies. So again, they're an association for the businesses, right? They don't have the best interest of the average consumer. And what Ohioans need to wake up and realize is these businesses, I don't care if you work for them, I don't care if you like their products, they don't have your best interest at heart, right? They will give you cheap, mid Reggie weed and tax you for it. And then make you paying to go for the experience at a dispensary. And now they're trying to promote and educate. Oh, you have to go to this our local dispensaries. No, you don't. First of all, homegrown Ohio is legal. You can grow up to 12 plants per household if you have two adults. They can't prosecute you unless you have over 23 plants. So you have home grow options. And so obviously, people that really are into the weed game and know how to grow good bud typically are gonna have better bud than the dispensaries because it's gonna be fresher, it's gonna be really cared for, it's gonna be good terpenes. It's not gonna be remediated, it's not gonna be sitting on shelves for in packaging for weeks at a time. You can see it, smell it. At the dispensaries in Ohio, you can't see the weed or smell the weed before you buy it. What to expect? Issue 2 has passed. So, what are we to expect now? On November 7th, 2023, Ohio voters passed Issue 2, making adult use marijuana legal. The Division of Cannabis Control issued the first dispensary to certificates of operation in August 2024, allowing those dispensaries to begin selling adult cannabis. Also, we have an adult use program and we have a medical program. Our medical program started in 2019, and that program's still there. Uh, So here's their mission statement. The Ohio Cannabis Coalition, OCAN, is the leading unified voice of Ohio's legal, medical, and adult use cannabis industry, promoting safe, responsible, and consistent access to legal cannabis. We advocate and educate for cannabis safety, quality, and consistency. Not true, because the products aren't quality and consistent in the industry. Also, this is a lie because they're not leading a unified voice with the cannabis industry. This is the cannabis business leaders. So they want to drive people to their dispensaries, to their products. And they're not really educating nobody. We promote policies that will lead to a thriving cannabis industry that grows jobs and brings widespread economic benefits. And that's also a lie, because if that was the truth, you would allow tier 3 and craft grow. If that was the truth, you would allow for social equity folks to get in the game. So, that's just facts right there. All right, we'll go. Let me see. Go to about the industry. So this just shows you how you can get a medical card. What are the qualifying medical conditions? How do I find a certified physician? Where can I get cannabis? Should I let my medical card expire? Let's see. Adult use program. So this is, bare minimum, right? Medical marijuana program. Okay, so that's just that. So So in the news, 725, King City Gardens teams up to open two dispensaries in Greater Cincinnati. McConnell, we can protect kids from THC and grow Kentucky's hemp industry. Opinion, Ohio weed companies may gain as Congress moves towards intoxicating hemp ban. Release of marijuana money, locals likely hinges on larger deal. Despite headwinds, local cannabis industry in growth mode. Ohio is more than doubling the amount of cannabis. Let's see, OCAN press release. So here's their press releases. OCAN launches. So this is one of the things they've been. OCAN statement on House Bill 160. These are two of the bills that they were against. And then they just, this lady, OCAN appoints Adrian Robbins as Deputy Executive Director. 225. Like she knows nothing about weed, y'all. She used to work with my wife at the news station. She's a journalist. What the fuck does she know about weed? She knows about marketing, PR, and communications from a white girl perspective, right? So we'll read the we'll read the press release. So reporters may contact Adrian Robbins, adrian.robbins at ocan.com. Ocan appoints Adrian Robbins as Deputy Executive Director. Robbins brings years of experience in public relations and government affairs to the role. Exactly. Just like I just said before I even loaded the fucking um, press release. Years of experience in public relations, and I'm going to give them the hell in public relations. They're going to have to do a lot because she don't know shit about weed or the culture or the community. She's a PR puppet. Like they'll use her. She's a blonde. She'll smile. Like, come on, bro. So Columbus, Ohio, the Ohio Cannabis Coalition is pleased to announce the appointment of Adrian Robbins as the organization's deputy executive director, effective immediately. In her new role, Robbins will focus on advancing OCAN's mission to support and advocate for Ohio's growing cannabis industry through government affairs and public relations. Robbins brings a wealth of experience to OCAN, having spent years leading successful communications campaigns and navigating public policy in Ohio as a consultant. A former TV news reporter and anchor, she has a proven track record in media relations, crisis communication. Yeah, y'all gonna need that crisis communications with me and public affairs. Robbins will work closely with Executive Director David Bowling and the OCAN team to strengthen relationships with lawmakers, regulators, and stakeholders while ensuring the organization's voice is heard in critical policy discussions. I'm thrilled to join the OCAN team during such an exciting time for Ohio's cannabis industry, said Adrian Robbins, Deputy Executive Director. The first full year of recreational sales presents a pivotal moment for this industry's growth. I'm looking forward to collaborating with our members, lawmakers, and the public to ensure Ohio's cannabis sector continues to grow and develop in a responsible and safe way. Adrian's deep understanding of Ohio, her extensive media background, and her strategic communication skills make her the perfect fit for OCAN. Her leadership in government affairs and public relations will be invaluable as we navigate the critical phase of Ohio's cannabis industry, said David Bowling, executive director. We are confident that Adrian's contributions will further strengthen our efforts to advocate for safe, legal, and responsible cannabis practices in our state. OCAN continues to play a key role in shaping policies and supporting stakeholders across the cannabis sector, including cultivators, processors, dispensaries, and testing labs. See, he doesn't say anything about consumers or patients or communities or people that have been harmed by the war on drugs. You see, there's no mention of that. The prohibition against cannabis has been for the last 6 decades. The war on drugs has been for the last 6 decades. These people just started this. And what I'm not going to allow them to do is come into this industry, control the industry, and whitewash and criminalize people that have been on the fucking ground doing so much work for years while they don't even mention it in anything that they talk about. Nothing they talk about. Ohio, about the Ohio Cannabis Consumer or Cannabis Coalition. The Ohio Cannabis Coalition is Ohio. We already read that. So yeah, that's the press release right there. And that was February 17th, 2025. So you can see they be on bullshit, bro. Let me know what y'all think though. All right, we're gonna go over the statement. Oh, All right, so here's their statement on HB 160. As we review House Bill 160, we are encouraged by the progress it represents. After weeks of productive discussions with lawmakers, we believe this legislation demonstrates that they are listening to the concerns voiced by both our industry and, more importantly, by Ohio consumers. Now they want to talk about Ohio consumers. While we are still analyzing the bill, it is clear that meaningful steps are being taken in the right direction. Additionally, we are hopeful that the Ohio legislature is addressing the ongoing challenges posed by current intoxicating hemp industry. The unregulated, untested, dangerous issue is plaguing Ohio's children, citizens, and businesses, and it is imperative that we find a sustainable solution to protect all Ohioans. Now they want to protect all Ohioans, but they won't talk about their remediated weed in the cannabis program. We are committed to working with Ohio lawmakers on this legislation. See, they're not willing to work with the community, though. The consumers. That's what people have to be. That's what you have to watch. All right, so let's talk about Senate Bill 56. We applaud the Senate for their diligent work on Senate Bill 56, and we are appreciative of the changes that have made this legislation. However, there is still work to be done to create a safe environment in Ohio that includes moving forward on Senate Bill 86. I think that's a typo. We urge lawmakers to close or regulate the untested, dangerous, intoxicating hemp market that is currently targeting Ohio's children. We look forward to collaborating with members of Ohio House in their efforts. And the reason they want to get rid of the intoxicating hemp is because the 2018 Farm Bill it allows hemp, right? So Delta 9 THC products, which can be sold basically in a retail store. And so what that does is that's allowing people to set up these storefronts that are claiming to be dispensaries, but selling hemp and Delta 9 and Delta different products. And so instead of people like originally before we had adult use, in order to get cannabis from the dispensaries, you had to have a medical card. Some doctors were charging $200+ to get a medical card. So then you had your medical card, you paid $200 for it. It was only good for a year. Then you could go to the dispensary. But then the dispensary, again, the weed, you couldn't smell it, you couldn't touch it, you couldn't see it before you bought it. You don't really know, you know what I mean, what you're purchasing. And so one of the loopholes was people, instead of going to the dispensary, people would go to these head shops or to the corner store, or to the hemp dispensaries. And so again, with OCAN working for the legal cannabis industry, they are losing money to these hemp dispensaries and hemp products. And so they want all of those products to be now sold through the dispensaries so they could get all that money and all that foot traffic and all those people where, you know, again, people are getting better deals, you know, and some of the hemp product is good. I'm not saying all the hemp product is good, but some of it is. And they always want to bring children into it. I haven't heard many stories of children, and obviously kids are going to get access to things, right? Like that's more of a parental thing, in my opinion, and that's more of a business thing. If you're a business selling products such as hemp or THC products, you should be carding people. Just same thing with alcohol. If somebody's coming into your establishment and buys a Bud Light, you should be carding them. If somebody comes into your establishment and wants to purchase a THC, a Delta 9 product, it should be labeled 21 and over. It should be labeled THC. It should be labeled this is intoxicating. And so I'm all for the protection of children. I'm all for, you know, using childproof locks on products and stuff like that. So, you know, but I don't think that's a huge issue to try to get away from, you know what I mean? When again, people are making money, people have started careers, businesses, made investments, etc. So, let's see. And so here's their leadership. So you have their executive director, David Bowling. David Bowling became OCAN's executive director in 2024. So he's new to this industry as well, following his tenure as deputy superintendent of the Division of Cannabis Control, where he played a pivotal role in establishing Ohio's adult use marijuana program, with a background as deputy chief legal counsel for the Ohio Department of Commerce. He brings extensive legal and regulatory expertise, Bowling is dedicated to supporting OCAN's members' success in a responsible, regulated market while championing broader cannabis industry. Then you have Adrienne Robbins, who is the one we just talked about. We'll read her bio. Adrienne Robbins was appointed Deputy Executive Director in early 2025. Robbins brings a wealth of experience to OCAN, having spent years leading successful communications. That's pretty much says the same thing. And then you have David Hannon, Director of Finance. Following a distinguished 14-year career as the Chief Financial Officer of the Ohio Department of Commerce, David joins OMCIA to assist with finances, where he is responsible for budgeting and accounts payable and receivable. His professional experience includes having served as the Chief of Staff for the County of Summit Legislative Branch and Director of Finance for the City of Monroe Falls. Hannon graduated from Kent State University, can't read, can't write, Kent State, with both a Bachelor's of Arts in Political Science and a Master's of Public Administration with a concentration in Public Finance. Again, none of their three leaders have any background in cannabis. He has a little bit because he helped set up the Division of Cannabis Control. But other than that, look at them. They don't look at this. Look at this. We've been around for thousands of years. This is not what the pioneers of weed look like. Okay? Look at that. No. Then you got their board of directors. Andy Rayburn, board president, CEO, Buckeye Relief. Like I said earlier, you have Adam Tamarino, or I don't. Let me see. I don't pronounce these names. Tamario. Oh, let me turn my volume up. Thamarius. Daniel Kessler, Riviera Creek. You got Clutch Cannabis right here. So CEO, Bill Williams, board member. Benelise, I know Bill, CEO. Jared Maloof, board member, CEO, Standard Wellness. Ray Boyer, board member, partner, Rooted Management Services. So this is the bulk of like who's behind all of this shit. And so, as citizens, folks need to be aware of what's going on. That's all, I'm doing is just sharing. This is public knowledge, public information. OCAN membership as the leading voice of Ohio's cannabis industry. OCAN recognizes our members' investment in the emerging industry. We work together to strengthen our unified industry voice and ensure our active and valued participation in the successful implementation of Ohio's cannabis programs. We feature different types of memberships depending on licensee. We seek to educate, advocate, and ensure a responsible, safe industry. So OCAN licensed memberships benefits include participation, eligible to attend OCAN member meetings and join committees, FaceTime, face-to-face access to legislators at lobby day events, collaboration, participate in regular meetings with state regulators and the Division of Cannabis Control, marketing, access to daily news clips, newsletters, company name and logo featured on marketing material and social media and website, leadership, eligible for board seats or to be a committee chair, network with colleagues, legislators, and regulators at OCAN receptions. Notice nothing about the consumers, though. Voting rights for elected board members and leadership positions. Take an active role, join a committee. OCAN's policy committee drives the association agenda for productive and meaningful changes in Ohio's cannabis policy with a focus on decreasing operational burdens and increasing safe access. The policy committee is responsible for working with regulatory agencies and the legislature to achieve its goals. The coalition's marketing education committee is responsible for directing the organization's public messaging and event schedule. The goal of this committee is to increase awareness and educate the public on growth and success of the program. If you're interested in joining the committee, please email us to get involved. Wow. So there you go, man. I mean, that's pretty much the bulk of their website. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. These are all the dispensaries, legal dispensaries in the state. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments about OCAN. Let me know what you think about Ohio's cannabis program so far, whether you're a medical cannabis patient or an adult use consumer. If you're a home grower, if you're still getting it from the plug, if you're still going up to Michigan to get your bud, let me know your thoughts. If you're an Ohioan, let me know why you chose cannabis, why you choose cannabis, what's your favorite strains, what's your favorite terpene profile. Let me know, what's your favorite way to consume? Do you like edibles, flowers, tinctures, transdermal patches, sprays? Let me know what y'all like. Let me know. I mean, I know people are going to the dispensaries. I still go to the dispensaries for certain products. I got this Benelli's product that I really like. That is a wintergreen plus CBG lotion that's really good for soreness and aches and pains. I'm an old football player, so I got aches and pains from arthritis and just old contusions. So I do go to the dispensaries every now and again. The dispensaries I go to, I'm in Columbus, so I go to Sapphire a lot. Sapphire is pretty much my go-to. Go to Amplify every now and again. Let me think. I used to go to Muvunu before they were Muvunu. It was their old brand. And then where else? I recently checked out. There was one over in Milo Grogan that I checked out. So I've been to a few. I've been to Bloom. Used to go to Terrasana a lot when the industry first started, and I was over by, and I used to live over there. Uh, I used to go to the Botanist every now and again. That was years ago. I haven't been to the Botanist or Terrasana in years at this point. But yeah, again, I appreciate the ability to go into a store and legally purchase cannabis. Like that's not what I'm trying to say. But what I'm also trying to say is we have to allow everybody to play the game. It's not fair that the wealthy get to play the game and the poor folks and the middle class folks have to play the game by their rules when cannabis is a communal thing, right? Like if I have people in my neighborhood or if I have a plug, I have a friend, I have a family member that grows good weed, I'm going to my friend over the dispensary. I would rather my friend have that money than the dispensary. So yeah, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. Make sure y'all share this, comment, blow it up. And then till next time, you know what I mean? If y'all have any stories y'all want me to cover, you can email me as well at Ohio Cannabis Report at gmail.com. Again, that's Ohio Cannabis Report at gmail.com. I appreciate y'all support. Please continue to spread awareness about what's going on. Let's continue to end the stigma around cannabis and show people that, hey, there's a lot of different types of people that consume cannabis for different various reasons. It's not just a black white thing, you know what I mean? But there are communities that have been hurt by the criminalization of cannabis. So thank you guys for tuning in. Till next time, peace.